Since the car was quite far away, and there was construction happening on the other road, Hanrushu and her housekeeper simply couldn't hear what the pair outside was saying. However, from their expressions, they seemed to be having fun chatting. The housekeeper said, "It looks like Miss Anhao's relationship with that bastard isn't bad. The young master loves Miss Anhao, and now that the young master has finally woken up." As the housekeeper said this, they coincidentally saw Qiao Anhao tilt her head and stare at Lu Jinian with a sweet smile. The housekeeper suddenly stepped on the brakes. After the car had stayed on the street for some time, she said, "Do you reckon Miss Anhao is falling for the bastard? If so, then what of the young master?" Hanrushu's expression instantly froze over. She stared wordlessly at the two outside until Lu Jinian carried Qiao Anhao into the neighborhood. Only then did she divert her eyes. The housekeeper in the driver's seat said with annoyance in her voice, "The young master treated that bastard so well. For him to dare treat the young master like that." When Hanrushu heard this, her expression looked worse for wear. As though to cut the housekeeper off, she said with a cold tone, "Start the car." The car drove off. Qiao Anhao and Lu Jinian talked for a long time, but they were quite tired, so eventually they stopped talking. She closed her eyes whilst on Lu Jinian's back. Her breathing was light, as she blew incessantly on his neck. It somewhat distracted his heart and stiffened his steps. A cool gust of wind came in, and woke Lu Jinian up. He suppressed the evil fire in his heart, and walked even slower than before. Even though both of them didn't speak, but the atmosphere felt far better than when they spoke. There was a feeling of everlasting peace and quiet. Even if Lu Jinian wanted to make this road longer, they had reached the end. He stepped into his own courtyard. Because of the rain, the flowers in the courtyard had fallen to the ground. There were quite a few petals stuck to Lu Jinian's leg. When they reached the door, he brought his hand up to the doorbell. Before it could ring, Madame Chen opened the door. "Mr. Lu, Mrs." Lu Jinian greeted her with a nod. Qiao Anhao, who was carried on his back, blinked and called out, "Madame Chen." After they entered the mansion, Qiao Anhao didn't have any intention of getting down, nor did Lu Jinian say anything for her to get down, so he continued to carry her in. Madame Chen changed Qiao Anhao's shoes for slippers, and he changed into slippers himself. With Qiao Anhao still on his back, when he reached the bottom of the stairs, he looked at her as though having thought of something and said, "We're home." Qiao Anhao knew that Lu Jinian meant for it to be a sign for her to get off of him. With a reluctant heart, she waited for 5 seconds, and then said in an unwilling voice, "Put me down." Lu Jinian didn't say a thing but lowered his body. Qiao Anhao conveniently slipped off of him. Lu Jinian then said, "I'm going to the restrooms. Go upstairs first and help me turn on the shower." Qiao Anhao nodded, turned, and trotted upstairs. Lu Jinian stared at Qiao Anhao, who disappeared around the corner of the stairs, with the hint of a wide smile in his eyes. He turned to look at Madame Chen, who immediately understood and ran into the kitchen. The lights were off in the bedroom. Qiao Anhao pushed open the bedroom door and went to reach for the light switch on the wall. Before she even pressed the switch, there was already light in the room. She furrowed her brows and was about to walk in when she stopped, dazed, in her tracks.